Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the RTV studios here at Martinsville High School for Inside Martinsville Football here on WREP 15 Sports. I'm your host, Eric Meyer, joined once again this season by the head coach, Brian Duggar. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure to be on here.
Should be a great year for the Artesians once we get ready for this season to get underway, which will officially kick off a little bit later than normal, but it'll get underway at noon Saturday when the Artesians play host to the Stars from Bedford North Lawrence High School. So, Coach, we'll get to the Stars later in the show. Before we get there, though, the opener postponed.
Yeah, it's
quarantine for you guys for 10 days. How's that affected the team? You got 1 day back. How did they come back from the quarantine?
So it's played a pretty big role in what's going on. Obviously, we've lost a whole week of practice and prep time that we could be getting better and kind of prepping for Bedford North Lawrence. You know, I feel like what we did this spring and the winter and the summer, all that stuff, we really did a good job of teaching these kids how to play football. And kind of really, we didn't focus on scheme a ton. We talked about reads, we talked about, playing base and all that stuff, especially on defense. And I think that's going to pay dividends in the fact that, we showed up yesterday and I think mentally we were there. We're a little out of shape right now because we just took however many days off. But other than that, I thought mentally we were pretty sharp yesterday and kind of where we're at and what we need to do.
Kids back in school yesterday, back on the practice field as well yesterday as they prepare for the Bedford North Lawrence Stars. Let's go back to what you talked about a little bit, the spring, the summer, all the work, football, all sports. Now, as everybody knows, at the high school level, we're basically year-round, and you guys really got after it. What's some of the stuff you guys were able to accomplish in the spring and summer?
Well, first of all, our kids were fully bought into what we're doing all winter, all spring, every workout in the summer. Our commitment is at an all-time It's all-time high that I've ever been around, and I'm really proud of the effort and just the ability to show up and get better every day. We really focused on, like I said, fundamentals and just doing our job, getting bigger, faster, stronger, and being better football players. We didn't game plan, we didn't do a whole bunch of X's and O's stuff. We just got better at our job, and we started that in the winter. We kept it going in the spring where we really started introducing football-type stuff, and then in the summer we kept getting better. So these kids, nobody knows how hard they have to work. People think football season starts in August and ends in November. We started, our first workout was in December. And we had 50 kids show up to that first workout. We had 60-some kids show up to a Christmas Eve lift, if that tells you anything. So I really like the commitment that we have right now, and that just continued all summer long and right into the start of the season.
Kids working more, working harder to get better at their jobs, and one of the people trying to help them get better at their jobs are some of your coaches, and you've added a couple of new guys to your coaching staff.
Yeah, we were able to add some pretty good coaches this summer, or this year in general. We were able to steal a guy that's going to know our first opponent pretty well. Steve Weber was the head coach down at Bedford North Lawrence for 10 or 11 years, I believe, and he was a head coach at Linton Stockton for 15 years. So I added a guy with over 25 years of head coaching experience to our staff, which is really good for someone like me who's it's my second year as a head coach, and you can kind of ask that guy. He's been through probably more battles than I've seen, altogether. So it's great having a guy like that on your staff just because he can be so beneficial for me. And the kids love him. He does a good job with them. He's coaching the defensive line, and they're getting better. We added Jim Whitney, got him out of retirement. He was a coach at Monrovia for a long time and took a time off, and now he's back coaching. We added a young kid, Matt Box, played at Taylor University. He's going to come in and coach corners. And then on the freshman staff, we added Corbin Williams and Michael Betts, two former players from here that have been real beneficial and helping out with a lot of those young kids, making them better as well.
You got some new coaches, some of the same players back. You mentioned it's your second year here at Martinsville. Are there some things that you've changed, learned from year number one that now you've kind of implemented here as we head toward year number two?
I don't know if things have changed. I know the kids know me better now. The kids, I remember the first Zoom meetings we were kind of doing and kind of some of the stuff in the summer, it was like a foreign language to them. They were so confused on the words, the verbiage I was using, and now I say something and they pick it up. We did a couple Zooms over the quarantine, and we talked about some tweaks and some things we were going to do a little bit different game plan wise. and they picked it right up right away. There was no issue in what we were doing. So I think the biggest change is we're all on the same page now. I think everybody knows what the expectations are, and everyone's doing a pretty good job with it.
Lost some pretty talented players, some guys that got you a lot of yardage last year on the offensive side of the ball, but you've got a lot of guys back as well. I think your receiving core is probably really, really strong. You've got a quarterback now that's back after he's had some varsity experience as well. Can you talk a little bit about the offense this year and what you expect out of the team on that side of the ball?
Yeah, I think offense, we have a chance to have some fun this year. We really do. I know we return quarterback. Anytime you return a kid like Tyler Atkins, a guy who started 6 games. And, the thing about Tyler is he doesn't always look the part physically, but he's a little bit of a gunslinger. He's got a moxie to him. And most importantly, he gets the game. He's an extension of me out there. He'll come over and talk to me about what he sees and kind of what's going on. And in our red-blue scrimmage, he was dialed in. He was putting us in the right play, doing everything. So when he's on, I think we got a chance to be pretty good. But then you just kind of think back all this that we got coming back. I think we had a total of 9 starters on the offensive side coming back. Almost every one of our receivers come back. We lost a big receiver in Matt LaFerry, but, we got Chase Mabry, Braxton Dilly, Phillip Herbert's coming back off of injury, Luke Cheatham's back, Jaden Thacker got some minutes last year. I mean, we've got a lot of pieces, and that didn't include Garrett Skaggs, who's kind of our utility guy, can play every position. So we've got all those tools back, and I think we got a chance to have some fun kind of throwing the ball around, kind of doing some things, maybe not relying on a guy like Tyler Cox like we did last year. And we're going to miss Tyler Cox because he was a go-to horse for us. But it was really nice knowing coming into the season that we could kind of sling it a little bit. It's kind of what I've been done in my history a little bit. Right. So we've led the state in passing, at Southport a couple of years, so I don't have a problem doing that again. It's just we got a good group, and our offensive line is going to be solid. Returners there. I know we got Sam Lyday back, Wyatt Shrake back, Luke Edwards back. We got a chance to have some fun on offense.
You mentioned the passing and the things that you've done in the past, your lineage there at Southport, but it's also passing lineage here at Martinsville High School as well, going back a couple of years with Bill Siderewicz when he kind of made that tweak and said, all right, we're going to run the run and shoot, let Bill Tutterell kind of call a little bit, and those guys racked up yardage and a couple of Mr. Footballs in a row. And, interestingly enough, they're going to honor some of those teams coming up on Saturday afternoon as well that Bill was in charge of.
Yeah, so, funny you said that. Is one of the first things I did when I got here was check the record book. I wanted to see what our passing, whoa, those are pretty good.
Those are pretty good. That's not bad.
Those pretty good numbers. So, one of the things that I've been blessed with is Coach Siderewicz has really been open arm and, just really been open to be a part of the program. As a legend like him, I'm glad that he wants to be a part of us. When we ran the hill this summer, he wanted to come. He wants to come to practice. He calls me once a week and just asks how things are going. It's awesome. Right. I want him to be a part of this. I want the kids, and the field's named after him. So I want him to be a big part of our program. And we're going to honor that, his first team, the 71 team, and the 81 team, the sectional championship team at that home opener. Hopefully we have a great crowd that can come out and celebrate those guys and all their accomplishments. And one of the cool things is now that our game's been moved to Saturday, Joe can come.
Okay, yeah,
because
awesome.
Joe coaches at Center Grove, so
does.
Joe's going to be able to attend now. He wouldn't have been able to attend if it was on Friday. So we moved it for Joe. That's what
that's what we're going to say. So opportunity to get Bill back and also Joe back, and two, obviously the names synonymous with the Artesian football and where the tradition is, and you're trying to continue that tradition on. We mentioned the offensive side of the ball. Bill's defensive teams were mean and nasty as well, and you'll try to get a variety on your defense as well and get them running after the football, chasing as well. But there's been some changes schematic-wise on the defense as well. Can you talk a little bit about that without giving away too much?
I don't want to tell too much.
I know, we don't want to get too much, but
we're moving to a stack. We are going to go to the 3-3 stack, and one of the things that we feel like that puts our kids who are better athletes in better positions to make plays. We want guys flying around and playing fast. And the group we got coming back, we got Weston Pemberton's going to be, he led us in tackles last year, all-state kid. He's going to be our anchor of our defense. He's a kid that we're going to lean heavy on, just voted a captain. Riddick Bolton as well voted a captain. Those are guys that returning guys that were big players for us that are going to have a huge impact in what we do. A guy like Tanner Smith and Jaden Kistner up front, those are kids that are very, very valuable to us, and returning guys that were really good last year, and expect them to take the next step as seniors now. So I think they got a chance to be solid. And then like our linebacker core, there's a lot of new there. There's a lot of juniors there. but I think they have a chance to get better every single game. And I think they're going to be something to a force come week 3 or 4 down the season when they start to figure it out with some live action. You know, you got a guy like Devin Brenner, also voted a captain as a junior, which is a big deal, who's going to be the middle linebacker, and that's a role that I think he's going to thrive in. Daniel Ham and Stevie Drake, those are 2 kids that I think are going to have some success there, and Bryce Norton will get some reps there as well. So that's a group that I think has a chance to be pretty good as we get going in the season. And then Caden Long's going to be our guy in the back. He made a bunch of plays last year. He's a guy that we kind of count on in secondary to do things. And I just like that group. I think we got a bunch of guys that can fly around and make plays, and that's what we want to do when we looked at going to the stack.
All right, so the people that don't know the 3-3 stack or the stack, can you talk in simplistic layman's terms, best you can, without giving away too much?
Yeah.
What's the 3-3 stack mean? Or the stack?
Basically, we're going to take away the run. That's what the stack's primed to do. It's try to get as many guys in the box as you can. We're going to try and get some look at safety type players that can be guys that can come down in the box but can also get back in coverage. And that's what we like. Those 3 positions are really important, and we think we got 3 of our best players there. So we like the idea of stopping the run, especially in our conference where everybody's pretty much run heavy first, and we'll throw, outside of maybe Mooresville or Plainfield, who will throw it a little bit, but most of those teams, they want to run the ball first. So it's going to fit into kind of what we want to do. 3
down linemen, 3 linebackers, and then 5 essentially defensive backs, a couple of corners, 3 safeties on what you'll see on the 3-3 or the stack.
Yep, and those 3 safeties, like I said, are kind of hybrid. Think of them as a hybrid, like they're a linebacker / safety. So they're in the box, but they're getting out in coverage as well.
So that's a look there at the defense. We took a look at the offense as well earlier in the program. Martinsville wants to sling it around on the right arm of Tyler Adkins and that strong receiving core that they have back there. Another component, the third component, and sometimes one of the most important on a team is the special teams. Can you talk a little bit about who you're going to count on that side,
so,
I guess if it's a side of the football?
So we got Ethan back, Ethan Hainline. He was a great kicker for us last year. He's a kid that we have extreme faith in. I think he's good from 50 in. So he's got a leg. We'll let him kick it. Obviously the further back statistic, his numbers are going to go down a little bit. But if we get in a situation where we've got to line up a 50-yarder, I think we've got confidence as a coaching staff, and the kids have seen him do it in practice, so they've got faith in him. He's a kid that's really committed. I know he's a really good soccer player, but he's really committed to being a good kicker. He comes to our workouts, he comes to everything, and it's nice to have a weapon like that. When you know you got a guy who can put the ball where he's supposed to on kickoff, and a guy who can give you 3 points, and every extra point's a given, that's a big deal.
Kickoff kicker, Hunter Weston again?
Yep, probably be Weston again. Trevor Buckwalter will probably get some reps as well. He's done a good job this summer. But yeah, Weston will be the guy, and he'll be the punter again. We want to continue with our rugby action and make it tough on teams to cover us up.
So that's a look there at the Artesians in terms of what they have on the offensive side of the ball, defensive side of the ball, also on special teams as well. For Martinsville thus far this season, your team that you've seen, I guess, in the preseason, what are some things that you think, you touched on a little bit, but some of the things that are your strong points this year in those aspects, or just the team in general?
Yeah, I think our team is, one of the biggest strengths about them is I feel like they're pretty close-knit. I think they're a group that wants to be around each other and wants to be here. We talk about like the attendance aspect and how much kids were showing up this summer and kind of being here. That's a testament to wanting to be around each other. If you got to be around each other all that time, there's got to be some level of cohesiveness. And when we ran the hill this summer and we did some other activities, the kids were really bought into kind of what we were doing and just being a group. So I think that's something that's going to be really important for us to continue that, because when times get tough, those are the times we're going to look at our leaders and we're going to come together as a group. And it's going to happen this year. We're going to have some things where things don't go our way and we're going to have to respond. So that's something that I think is kind of looking at our group that I'm really proud of right now. And like I said, offensively, I think you're going to see us sling the ball around a little bit and have some fun. And Tyler's is going to hopefully have a big season. And defensively, I hope those guys play fast and physical.
Leadership on the team this year been great?
Yeah, I think so. I think we voted for captains. I let the players vote, and I think that's a testament to the kids that you let the players pick who their leaders are, not coaches picked. And We actually normally only do 4, but we did 5 this year because we had 5 guys that got double-digit votes, and I think that says something.
Right.
If there was, the 5th guy was at 7 or 8 votes and probably wouldn't have done it, but when you got 5 guys with double-digit votes, that says something. Guys like Weston Pemberton, Riddick Bolton, Wyatt Schrake, Devin Brenner, and Tyler Atkins, those guys, I mean, you come to our practice, you kind of come see things. Those are the guys that are leading. Those are the guys that people look to. So I think leadership is a big improvement on our team this year.
So that'll be a big improvement like you talked about, hopefully being able to have a little bit of improvement on all sides of the ball, offense, defense, and all that special teams as well. Coming up this week, you've got the big opener. It's the Bedford North Lawrence Stars. It is a short game week preparation-wise, and then really a short preseason because of the quarantine. So how has that impacted preparation for Bedford coming up on Saturday?
Obviously we're up against it a little bit. The fact that they've had 2 weeks to prepare for us, and we're only getting 3 days, 4 days, whatever it's going to be. So we're up against it a little bit. They're going to be a little bit probably more. I think we might make some mistakes that we normally wouldn't make. The thing is, though, I've told our kids this, and I feel pretty good where we're at. Obviously, I think on Saturday we'll make some mistakes that I don't want to normally see. That's just kind of first game jitters or kind of not enough reps. But I do feel we've put ourselves in a really good position by our commitment in the winter, the spring, and the summer to be where we're at now. We did all this work for a reason, and sometimes it presents itself in a way that it shows it, and that's if we didn't do that, we'd be in trouble. By us installing our special teams all summer long and doing that every day, there are some teams that don't install their special teams until the first 2 weeks of season. They wait and do that till later. Well, we did that in the summer. So we're not installing right now. We're just kind of repping it. So we're in a good spot. I really feel like we're in a good spot. Bedford's going to be a tough opponent. They're tough. They're physical. They're fundamentally sound, and I'm assuming they'll be the same way with the new coach. But we're going to have to come out and play well, and I think we can do that.
You mentioned a new coach, the former coach. You mentioned it. Now Coach Weber,
Yeah.
longtime head coach, like
Yeah.
you mentioned, here helping you. That had to help a little bit in the short week of preparation, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, it helps. He knows the kids well, so he was able to kind of give us an individual breakdown of each kid, which is nice. Schematically, we don't know if they're going to do exactly the same stuff. They may try and do some things differently because it is a new coach and he's going to want to kind of create his own identity. But we think some of the foundation of what they do is going to stay the same. So it helps a little bit, but at the end of the day, it really comes down to what it always comes down to, and that's taking care of ourselves.
Take care of yourselves.
It's doing what we got to do. Bedford's going to come out. They're going to make their adjustments. We'll make our adjustments, and then it comes down to execution. Who can execute the plays that we've been running all summer, the reads we've been given all year? Who can do that the best? That's what it's going to come down to.
Let's talk a little bit about Bedford, though. Offensively, what we'll see out of them, it starts with their quarterback, Bry Howard. He's the guy that makes them go.
Yeah, he is. Bry Lewis?
Bry Lewis.
Yeah,
Bry Lewis, yeah.
He was a starter last year. I think they're going to split. I think they're going to have 2 guys do it. I think they're going to move. I think they're going to move Lewis around. He's probably their best player.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to put him in all sorts of spots: running back, receiver, quarterback, defense. I think he's going to play a little bit of everything because he's pretty good. The other kid's a sophomore. He's pretty good too. I think we'll see a little bit of both. But again, if the Lewis kid's at quarterback, he's their best player. The ball's in his hands, so we're going to have to execute well and make it tough on him for his reads and be physical with him when we get a chance.
Things that they'll like to do. I know that they ran a little bit of an option type of look. Are we still expecting that's what you're going to see out of them?
I would think that's what they're going to hang their hat on. They're going to probably have some new wrinkles, like I said, because of a new coach. But I think at the end of the day, they'll still be an option-based team. It's what they've done. Those kids have grown up in that system there for 10 years now doing that, and it's kind of what they hang their hat on. So I would expect to see that, maybe out of different formations, maybe different looks, but I still think they're going to come back to doing what they do with option.
Defensively, it's going to be kind of looking like in a mirror, right? They're basically running the same thing you guys do.
That's one benefit of the summer and all that is we saw the defense all summer long when we went against ourselves. So we're going to see a stack. It's pretty similar to what we do, and we've been prepping for it for 2 months without really prepping for it, if that makes sense. So it's good for us and the fact that we've seen it. So even though we're only getting a few days practice, we've still seen it.
Seen it all summer and been able to get ready to hopefully what you can do against that on Saturday afternoon. So let's talk a little bit about what you're going to have to do. What are those keys to the game that you guys are going to have to do offensively and defensively,
Yeah.
to come out with a victory on Saturday afternoon.
Well, you kind of look at the game plan and different things that have got to happen. I think the two most important things that we have to do is they're kind of cliches, but one, we have to take care of the football. Without having the 8 days or whatever, how many days off, I'm worried about us being a little loose with the football, with us not being hit as much as we should have been. That's something I'm worried about. And then tackling. I think we got to finish our tackles. I think they're going to run hard, and again, without us having tackled and done things for the last week, I think that's going to be something that we're really going to have to hang our hats on and be mentally dialed in on. So I think if we do those two things well, if we take care of the football and we fly around and tackle well, I think we're going to be in good shape on Saturday. I think our talent-wise, we're pretty talented. I think scheme-wise, our kids know what we're doing, and I think we'll execute okay. But I think those are two things that could really impact the game with us having a layoff as far as we have.
All right, Coach, as always, we appreciate you joining us, taking the time to talk Artesian football.
Hey, I'm glad I got to be here, and I got to be here without a mask on for the first time ever.
Right.
So
this is the first time we've seen each other.
Yeah, no, this is
like
crazy.
Yeah.
So this is kind of fun. We didn't get to do this last year without a mask on. Hopefully, it can stay this way.
Hope so. Hey, Coach, we appreciate you joining us. Good luck coming up on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah. Appreciate you having me again.
That's Artesian head coach Brian Duggar here inside Martinsville football from the studios at Martinsville High School, the RTV studios. Martinsville coming up, like we said, Saturday afternoon, noon kickoff. The Bedford North Lawrence Stars coming to town to battle the Artesians. Get out there, support Martinsville. If you can't make it or you got grandparents or somebody out there that want to watch it, we've got you covered as well. MHS Rewind YouTube channel will have the live stream coverage of the game as well. But if you want to go back and watch your tackles again after the game too, Devin, you can do that.
Who's doing the color on that game?
We will have the former coach, Fred Cuttriff, in the press box as well. So if for nothing else, tune in to see what Fred
Coach
has to say.
Cuttriff, exactly.
See what Coach Cuttriff has to say. And before long, we may get Coach Bill up there,
That'd
too.
be awesome.
That'd be awesome as well. But two former Martinsville High School coaches, and now, of course, Fred join us and help us out. We appreciate that. He's the principal at John R. Wooden Middle School. But come out and watch the Artesians play on Saturday afternoon. As always, I'd like to thank the head coach, Brian Duggar, for head coach Duggar, along with the guys that were in here producing it, Levi Suter, Silas McFarland, and the new named captain, Devin Brenner, back there as well, helping. Also, I'm Eric Meyer. We'll see you again next week inside Martinsville football.